Welcome to Finding Your Cup podcast. It's Dina and Kerstyn, and we're coming to you live. Well, no, we're not live. We're recording.
We are recording.
But
we're live recording right now. If you are in the coffee shop, then you are seeing us.
That's true. Very true. We are
recording
in
live.
The lobby, and it's actually quite full right now, but this is fun.
It is fun.
Yeah.
We're going to record a little podcast. You can hear all the customers in the background, all the sweet conversations happening.
Yeah.
All the students studying.
And the Christmas tree in the background because it's December and it's very festive in here.
Yeah, we get to chill in the lobby.
I know.
We never get to chill in the lobby.
Never.
I love this couch.
I know. We don't really ever sit here during opening hours, at least. So this is
so fun.
This is kind of a fun perspective, actually.
This is. I love it.
And I just have to point out my cute little pot of coffee. This is my part of my Christmas gift from Kerstyn this year, and I love it because now I can say I drink a pot of coffee a day.
Yeah, if you're just listening, it's a coffee cup that looks like a pot of coffee, like has the handle, like the one you brew stuff in. But I also got this for Dina specifically because she drinks iced espresso a lot. And so I thought it was even funnier that she'd be having her iced drinks in a coffee pot.
That is funny.
I just think that's iconic.
I should have done ice today, but I was feeling to have hot, so I'm doing a meow. If you can see all the yummy cinnamon in the top of it.
Yeah.
We do have some of the best meows. I mean, I know that I'm biased, but.
Yeah. I unbiasedly think so.
Oh, okay, cool. See, you heard it from Kerstyn.
You heard it from me, folks.
Yeah. No, very good. Yeah. So do you want to tell everybody a little bit about why we're back on the podcast?
We're back on the podcast, guys. Did you miss us? I actually did miss doing these. These are so fun when me and Dina just get to sit and chat and talk about more the vision behind 12 Stones and where it's headed and stuff that we're up to and where stuff is going. So since it is the holiday season, we shortened our hours a little bit. So if you're listening to this during the holiday season and you're wondering about that, you can look on our socials and we'll probably have it posted. But we just kind of had a conversation about slowing down a little bit and taking more time to just let the coffee shop rest and let us rest and just sit with even the reason for the season, but genuinely.
No, for real. So you might know that we just recently celebrated our 5-year anniversary, and which is so exciting and a huge milestone. But definitely too, a lot of times we end up with less staff during the holidays because we lose about half of our staff that travels home because they don't live in North Dakota.
Most of them are college students that go home to see their family, and we want to let them do that.
Absolutely.
Family's important, and celebrating holidays is important. So,
and I think, to be honest, the first few years I always had the mindset that if need be, my family would just be here the whole time, keeping it open. And there was a sweet season to that, but I am so excited actually to slow down a little bit. And I've come to realize that our customers totally understand that and applaud that when we do that, and that is a blessing as well. And I think it's allowed me to realize it's okay to rest.
Yeah, I think that's actually like a cultural shift happening right now, actually, is that people are realizing that like it's okay to rest and that you don't need to bust your butt 24/7. I think there's seasons for working hard, and like that's important to work hard at things and to spend time on things, but I think rest is just as important. I think there's seasons for that too. And to like, what better time than like the holiday season to actually slow down, because you're not just resting, but you're getting to do that with others. And it's like almost this expected time that people are expecting. Everyone during the holidays is looking at people's hours, and seeing when they're open, because it's expected that it's less often that things are open because people are expecting us to be with our families and slow down and stuff. And so I do think just in general too, that people are realizing that, we get burnt out because like we're humans that have limits. That's crazy.
What?
That's insane.
We're not machines that can just power through. I mean, ironically, even machines break down need rest.
That's true.
I mean, sometimes we actually even, not very often, but sometimes we have to turn our espresso machine off and give it a little rest, so it's not so cranky after it's been busy.
It is true. Yeah, that is so true. But I mean, even speaking of that, part of the reason that we wanted to hop on here too was even to announce some plans for this upcoming year, and just talking about rest and slowing down, and the holidays and our heart behind that and slowing down for that. But also coming this new year, and you've heard us talk about it on the podcast before, of a Sabbath and how important a day of rest is. And two, I think it'd be cool if we kind of unpack that a little bit, because I think a lot of people don't understand that concept. And even like, we are practicing Christians, disciples of Christ. So biblically, if you just look at what a Sabbath is, a lot of times people get confused on that concept, because they're like, isn't that the Old Testament? Like, why do we have to do that still? And all these things. And so even like, I don't know, I would want to hear your thoughts more on that too, of just like what a Sabbath means and stuff, and why we're applying that. Because we did want to apply that to the shop, because that's something, if we like value that as people, you should also see that in your business, you know, because if you're a business owner, the values you have personally are going to show up in your business.
Yes.
And we also realized that we're like one of the only coffee shops in town that isn't closed.
We don't have an actual day during the week where we are closed for a full
that's
day.
a better way of putting that. Yes.
Yeah. And we have a unique situation in that we operate as an independent business, but we are inside of, or we share a building with New Life Church. And so, of course, we're going to be open on Sundays, because we want to serve the people at New Life Church as well. And we just have a wonderful relationship with New Life Church. Both Kerstyn and I are involved in ministry here at New Life, which also is a larger reason where I know a lot of people take Sabbath on Sunday. Like a lot of shops will be closed on Sunday. Or even people themselves take a Sabbath, but that doesn't actually end up being, well, it's not the case for 12 Stones or for us.
Yeah.
Like I said, we're both involved in ministry at New Life, and I the worship team, which we love.
Yes.
But honestly, we serve that day too, so it's not a Sabbath. So I know I can speak personally. I have struggled in the last several years with taking a Sabbath, just getting a business up and running, and kind of almost, if I were to be honest, being a little bit fearful to close it all. And so it's taken
Which is so real.
It's real. It's not right necessarily, but it's real. Fair. And I know definitely that others can relate to that, but it's taken a lot of prayer and even discussion with like spiritual leaders and with my my faith peers, if you will, like you and I've had so many discussions on this. Yeah. Many of us here on the team at New have had this discussion too, that it's so good for us to take a Sabbath personally, and it is a good thing for the shop. And I know we're going to talk a little bit more about that, but as someone that's part of an older generation, if you will, one thing that I have been so encouraged and challenged by your generation, that you guys are really intentional about taking Sabbaths. And I think that's a beautiful thing, because you've seen too many adults get burnt out, perhaps. Yeah. And I'm all for the movement, like you said, to just take time and pause. And and I feel very excited and at peace about closing first for the shop to take a Sabbath. Yeah. And that it doesn't necessarily mean that we won't be here. It's actually one of the points we talked about, is that so Kerstyn's a manager and I'm an owner, and for us to be able to come and actually pray in the space, that's important to us, and to just even look around and dream or
get new perspective. Well, because even like we said at the beginning of the podcast, we don't even just get to sit out in the lobby hardly ever. And so all our perspective is very much so from behind the counter, but it's so good to get from a customer's perspective out here in the lobby, how it feels out here when you're sitting and just hanging out and stuff. And and also it's not so much for like, obviously because we're closed that day, we won't have staff on, so they will get a day off from work. But for us, we'll still probably be here and doing some management things, inventory, stocking up, making sure all of our equipment is clean, like having a day where we can actually clean it instead of trying to clean it when we're in a slow spot and there might be a customer that comes in, we have to tell them to wait because we have to clean our grinder. It just is going to help us maintain a lot better too, and make sure that our space, like a day for deep cleaning and, you know, all of that kind of stuff, which is just going to help because maintenance is really important for keeping your coffee shop like just keeping it well. But I just think it's gonna help so much just to have that day off.
As I mentioned, we share space with New Life Church, and through the years it's been exciting because the church is growing and getting busier as well. And so where maybe we would be able to come in after hours per se, where after 12 Stones is closed, we actually can't. I mean, we can come in. It's not that we can't. It's just that this is a busy building. And so the church has activities at night and whatnot too. So we don't. It's harder and harder to find a moment to come in and just really, like Kerstyn was saying, just be in the space where there's nobody else and where we can really look at things. And we are 5 years into being open where our equipment does need more attention. I mean, the space needs more attention because it's not brand new anymore, and we definitely want to keep it functioning well and looking nice and making sure that our space, that we are creating a space that continues to just be clean and welcoming.
And thriving.
But then, as Kerstyn was saying, coming in and intentionally being able to pray in the space and over the space. And that when I started 12 Stones, that has always been the heart of 12 Stones. And I've said this before, but one thing I just love about having Kerstyn as manager is she absolutely gets that vision and has the same heart. She has the heart of 12 Stones.
Aww.
And so I think too why that's been encouraging and continue to sort of like push me to take the step to, I don't think push is the right word, but encourage to take this step. Because my husband could tell you how many times we've had the discussion over the years of, oh, I wish there was one day like most other shops where we could just be closed. I mean, even if we come into the space and work a little bit, it's a different mind space. You're in a different headspace. And
well, and it's not so much you're not coming in to be like, I'm ready. Because when I'm on bar, I come into those shifts being like, okay, I'm focusing on customers. I'm focusing on getting drinks out. I'm focusing on our team and our baristas in the space. But if you come in and we're closed, we're just like, oh, the vision for 12 Stones and like the lobby and just the space itself and prayer. And I don't know, being a barista, if you've ever been a barista or ever been in this environment, it is fast paced. You have to know how to multitask. There is almost always at least 5 different things going on that you're kind of keeping note of in your brain. Like it'll be in the middle of a rush and I'm like, oh, I need to remember that we need to stock up on that and I need to order that thing and I need to make the schedule and blah, 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 and all this stuff. And like you're constantly balancing all those things, but to just have a day where it's just nothing and you can just, again, devote that day to prayer and giving things to the Lord and submitting. Because I mean, Dina and I are such dreamers. We like dream so much and dream so big. And I love that about us, actually. And I think the thing that we've struggled with is every Tuesday we have our management meeting. And a lot of that is maintenance conversations, and we don't ever get just a chance to dream a lot. And if we do get a chance to dream, it takes away from the maintenance conversations. And so to have another day where there's no maintenance to do, and sometimes there will be, but to have a day where we can have more of those conversations so we can work on expanding instead of just developing what's already been built, but like building more and building out and growing more. I was going to say basically what you're talking about is that
creative space again.
Yes.
Because, and again, I know this will resonate with a lot of people or any creatives out there, is that when you're just sort of like go, 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 or focused on running everything around you, it zaps your creative
yes.
Inspiration or energy.
Yeah.
And that's just the way it is, because we are created to rest. God
yes.
created us to rest
yes.
so that we could dream the dreams and work towards those dreams that he's placed in our heart. And,
yes.
And that is all creativity.
Yes. Well, and even like, I think something that is a misconception for a lot of people is that when you rest, that means you're resting from something. Like, I did this super big task, so now I need to rest. But I think knowing that you're resting for something is so much more productive, because you're resting now so that you have a clear vision for things. You know what you're doing. You are going out of a place of rest, so you're not striving and then trying to get through it so that you can rest finally.
Yeah, that's so
like
good.
Being like proactive with rest is so good. And I think that's another thing that's like a misconception about Sabbath is people are like, I don't work hard enough in a week to deserve a Sabbath or something, you know? And I'm like, that's not what it's for.
Yeah.
Like, rest is like, one, to make sure you're not taking yourself too seriously. Like, have a day where you don't do anything, because like, honestly, none of us are like that important where we can't have a day off.
Yeah.
Like, genuinely, no matter how, like, I don't know, that could be a controversial statement, but really, like, the Lord is never going to ask us to do that much where we can't take one day, you know, to just rest and be and play and have hobbies and waste time.
Yeah.
And just have fun being a human being that's not doing anything productive. Like, we can afford that, actually. We have no lack.
Well, I know, I was going to say we almost can't afford not to do that, because we will be forced into what I would call reactive rest.
Yes.
Where either your body breaks down in some way
and
or you
out.
get sick. Yeah.
Yep.
And then, and that's no fun either, is to actually be stuck resting.
Yes.
And really be able to do nothing, because now you're in that point where your body's like, hey, or your mind, either way.
Yes.
Both, it happens
where you're
both
too
ways.
stressed, where you're too,
Yeah.
there's too many things you're juggling, all this stuff, because life never stops.
No.
So if you don't prioritize rest, your body's going to make you.
Yeah.
Or you're going to see it when you're older. Because I even think like so many people, maybe they are physically healthy now, but they're not mentally healthy because they don't know how to deal with stress. They don't know, they're super forgetful, you know, because they have so many things and they don't proactively rest. And then actually eventually it does end up physically wearing on you too, when you don't ever rest and stuff. And so I think too, a lot of this is not a reactive thing that we're taking Mondays off. Or being closed on Mondays, but it's a proactive thing, because even conversations we've had about where we want 12 Stones to go and where the vision is, it's like, in order for that to happen, we need to make sure that we have a day off, so that we can pour into those dreams. It's not this like, we've been doing too much, so we need to pull back.
No,
that's not, I wouldn't say that's where we're at.
No, I think that's why we've been so thoughtful and prayerful about it. And really, this has been a decision about 6 months in the making.
Yeah, honestly.
I mean, and really, as we entered into this holiday season, and we were going over the schedule, and it just felt so right. And if you look, like, the hours that we have from like Christmas Eve through New Year's, you'll see what I mean. Those hours will be posted soon. We're just cutting back more than we have in the past, and it seemed like such a natural segue then to go into starting on the first Monday in January to start our Monday Sabbaths. Yeah. And so this was not reactive at all. It was really thought out and planned, and I think, like I said, until we felt complete peace about doing it, and I'm so excited about it. I think it's going to make 12 Stones better. Hitting the 5-year mark is significant, and so it's like, what's the I say new vision. It's more like, what's the expanded vision? Maybe is a better way to put it for the next 5 years.
Well, and I think it's more like, because our vision is cultivating community with coffee. Like, that's the vision. But it's like, what does that mean? You know, and what? And so that's why we do study nights. That's why we want to do extended hours. That's why we want to do like events. That's why we want to have different groups meet here. That's why, you know, there's all these things, but those take more energy, more work, more just focus. And so that's another reason for closing on Mondays, is to expand that vision. That's a good vision statement. And we do that just by being open, but we want to expand upon that so then we can really use the space again as a blessing for people and a place of gathering. And, you know.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up because, again, just having that day to shut down, if you will allow us to plan more events, like, and to have special times when we are open in the evening. And those events, we always want them focused towards building community. Just like even like the study nights that we have, if I know any of the college students that have been here for them will know this, it's a beautiful thing that happens in here. There's so much community happening, even though they're studying, but because they're like studying together. And it's like, I don't know even how to totally describe it, but the first time we had one of those nights, I wasn't working that night, but my husband and I stopped in just to like see what was happening and what it was like. And it was such a cool, fun feeling because everybody was smiling, even though they have these like finals coming up. But I just think it's like, hey, we're all in this together, and what a cool space to come and, you know, spend the night studying and getting some refreshment even. And, and so that's just one example of an event where you think it'd be like quiet in here and everybody would be like so into what they're doing. And yes, that's happening, but then they're taking breaks to have fellowship, and it really was a place of community. It actually kind of surprised me, to be honest, in just in the sense of how much community was happening amidst the studying. So that's why I think it really blessed me.
Well, and if you even think about like the history of coffee shops and the heart behind coffee shops, it started in Europe, and the whole point of coffee shops was to share philosophies and to have different places for like philosophers and people who were struggling with different ideas about the world or religion or science or whatever. They just came together, and then they just so happened to be like, oh, let's make coffee. And then coffee houses were born, and that's like how it kicked off. And so the whole point of a coffee house and a coffee shop is for people to gather and to talk and to trade ideas and to learn and to, you know,
to be creative. So that brings up something that we've talked about. It's a trend for sure happening in Europe. And we've talked about bringing it here. So if anybody sees this podcast and you love the idea, just, put it in the comments, because basically I forget what they're called. Do you remember what it's called? But I
don't know what you're talking about.
Well, so it's where they come in and they're not allowed to bring their phones in. So they
yes.
So they make it like basically a no electronics. It's not just phones. They can't even bring their computers in.
There's just coffee shops in Europe where they don't give Wi-Fi, because that is actually a very American thing. Fun fact is coffee shops are places for people to like computer camp. They bring their computer and they work, which is like great. And I think there's like a time and place for that for sure. But we've talked about nights where we open up the coffee shop and it's like no phones, no computers allowed. The coffee shop is open for you to sit and knit, for you to sit and color, for you to sit and draw, for you to chat with someone, meet someone new, play a game, do something like that. And that's a huge thing over in Europe, where actually there's certain coffee shops that they just don't give out Wi-Fi. They don't, like, it's just a culture there that you don't bring your phone, you don't bring electronics, because that's not what a coffee shop is for. Coffee shops are for connecting with people. Coffee shops are for working on your hobby, for slowing down, for having a place to go besides home. To work on whatever book you're reading, or, you know, and it's like for those things, and it's just the cutest little thing. And so we've talked about that before, and so you never know now that we have Mondays.
I know. Well, because it's like Kerstyn said, we don't want to take away Wi-Fi, and we love that people come here and work. I love to come here and work on my computer. But we just thought how awesome to have a night where you're kind of maybe it's a new concept or a challenging concept for people, because I will admit it's hard for me not to have my phone. But also, even when I'm at my own home, if I just leave my phone in my room and go upstairs, I will completely engage with my family more than if I have my phone sitting beside me.
And I even think like how easy if you put your phone away and then you're like working on your drums.
Yeah, my drums.
Dina's so cool. I don't think y'all even understand that Dina is just like, she just picks up hobbies and just does new things all the time and is constantly just learning stuff. She's also a songwriter and a writer in general.
As are you.
I mean, yeah, I know, but like, I just don't think people know this stuff about you. That she wanted to learn the drums, so she bought a drum set. And so now she just has a drum set sitting in her basement that she's just practicing. What was the latest song you're practicing? Adele?
Yeah.
That's the latest one.
Why can't I think of the song?
Rolling in the Deep.
Rolling in the Deep
by Adele.
Yeah.
Is the latest one she's working on.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, I even think about just like leaving your phone and how actually even though it's hard, it still is easy once you just take the initial step of getting your phone away. Then you get so engrossed in like learning this new thing or doing this new hobby. Yeah. And it's so fun.
Well, and it's funny because, I mean, yes, I'm aware that I'm getting older, right? We're all getting older, but I think I'm also just like, I never want to get to a point where I'm like, oh, I'm too old to learn that.
Oh my gosh.
To challenge myself, because that's just so unhealthy. And I always want my brain to be, and I am very like musical. And and our good friend across the street from 12 Stones, who has solid rock music, he
Matt
and I,
Markle, shout out to
he's awesome.
Matt. Come in and try the Maddie's Christmas Brulee, which is named after Maddie.
Yeah, seriously, probably our leading selling Christmas drink last year. Like we were joking, we should have given him like commission from it.
Yeah, because it was crazy.
So popular.
Yeah, it was like drinks lined up. Maddie's. Yeah, it was crazy.
It is funny. Anyway, yes. So he's in here every single morning, literally every single morning that
since
we're
we opened.
Yes. And so we were talking, and I got my electronic drum set from him, and so that's just another thing I love, getting to know our customers. We encourage each other. Like, you know what I mean? And just the fun conversations and the new things that you want to try because you've talked to a customer and of all generations. And another thing that coffee shop communities are supposed to be are a place for all generations to actually connect and encourage each other.
Well, and it's so fun because I've even thought of like little conversations I've had with people like Gary. I didn't know, but apparently he's super into hunting. And so we just got in a conversation about that. And so we've just been chatting about that when he comes in. I'm like, how's hunting season going? When does that end? Because I don't know anything about that, even though I'm wearing camo. No one call me out.
That's true. You totally have camo on today.
I don't know anything about hunting. I've never done them before. But anyways, and just like little conversations that I'll get in with people, or, you know, like it's crazy just when you get to know someone like, or Doug, he's another regular. He comes in here and he writes. Yeah. And he's a writer. And it's just so cool to like, because we've asked me and Elise, one of the baristas here, I'm sure y'all know her, we've asked him to share some of his writings with us, and it's so good, and it's just so cool when you get to know people and the hobbies they have.
Well, I was gonna say, because what's cool about Doug is I think he's an accountant.
Yes.
Yeah. So
that's not his job.
It's not his job, but he comes in here on his lunch hour.
Yeah, and he just writes for an hour. You don't see him on his phone. He just like sits and he just writes. And it is so cool. Is so inspiring and so cool. And so, and I was even going to bring up, like, just on the topic of Sabbath and hobbies and stuff, is like when you cultivate that space in your life just to have space, you know, where you just have margin. God forbid we have a night off from something, you know, but having a whole day where nothing is expected of you and you can like engage with play, because I think that's another thing is we take ourselves so seriously. We take our jobs way too seriously. We take our life way too seriously. And like, yes, there's a time and place for that. Things need to get done. Yeah. You do have roles to play and things to show up for. Yeah. But I do think just the way that the Lord designed us is that we need that play. And I think there's a reason why he said, you know, there's a way to enter the kingdom of heaven, and that's by being like a child. You know, is that you actually I'm doing a book study right now with my boyfriend and two friends of ours, a couple, and it's called The Good and Beautiful Life by James Bryan Smith. And the chapter right now is talking about the kingdom of God, and then it gives you a practice at the end of it. And I thought it was so interesting that this week it's talking about how to inherit the kingdom of God and what the kingdom of God is and all this stuff. And then it gives you a practice every week. And I thought it was so interesting, the chapter that talks about the kingdom of God, the practice for the week is play. And I thought that was so interesting and so intentional, I think, that he was like, here's what the kingdom of God is. And I think when we think of the kingdom of God, it's like this big thing and this big thing we have to build. And I need to help build the kingdom of God by showing up to my job and being faithful and stewarding and suffering for Christ, and which are all yes. But he was like, now go play. And that's something that we should practice, because having hobbies and like the Lord delights in that when we do that, and when we have a day off, and when we get to just trust him, because that also gives you space to trust him and know that you're not actually, as much as you want to convince yourself, you're not the one running your life.
Yeah.
Like the Lord ultimately is. And I think too, having Mondays where like even just we can, like, yes, I order all the stuff and I keep the milk in and we clean the machines and stuff, but ultimately the Lord is the one that has made this coffee shop last for 5 years.
Oh, without a doubt.
It's not as much as work as we do. Like, we're not the ones that keep this coffee shop running and make it be what it is. It genuinely is the Lord. And we're just stewards. Like, there is a part in that, but it's the Lord. And so taking a day to acknowledge that and for us to remember.
Yeah. Well, and a lot of that too is one thing I've learned is in a really big way is giving up control, because the coffee shop has never been mine. Like, to Kerstyn's point, the vision came from God, the resources. Yes, you have to steward it well, but also I think where it becomes hard to take a day of rest or Sabbath is thinking that I'm in control of everything, or I'm in charge of everything. Right. And that's also where that fear comes in. Like, oh, I couldn't possibly not do this, or even honestly hiring a manager, which has been such a blessing, but giving up control.
Yeah.
Because
thanks for doing that.
Yeah.
I have a job because of you. Thank you so much.
Thank you for doing it. No, but it really is like, because it's honestly, it's a prideful thing to think that everything it can't run or won't run as well, or however you want to put it, without me. And so really for the last year, I was just having this conversation with someone and joking that sometimes I will literally even make the gesture of opening up my arms, like usually if I'm just by myself, but I'm like praying, or I'm like feeling like I'm holding on to things too tight, I'll literally do that as a physical gesture and a reminder that, hey, okay, God, like, this isn't mine, this is yours. I'm giving you back control, because I really don't want control or the responsibility, because I will screw it up.
Yes.
So, and that's just the reality.
But I do think too, like, even having that day to recognize that, and even what you're saying of giving up control, actually also humbles yourself and recognizes that you're giving space for other people to even grow.
Yes.
Because I promise you, the first month that I was manager, Dina would have done it better than me. Because that first month I had to learn and I had to grow into that role, and so that, because she gave up control, it like gave me an opportunity to grow in a way that I wouldn't have if she would have stayed, and I think about that for so many areas of my life where I've had to give up control, but it actually lets other people grow, and it makes me grow, because even I realize, like, oh, that person's doing it in a way that I wouldn't have, but it works. Like, I love that. That's so cool, and like, that's also the point of like community too and stuff. So I mean, that's kind of going off on a different rabbit trail, but I just thought that was good. So,
no, that is good, because I was going to say I have some really good leaders in my life who have been an example of and taught that being a good leader isn't doing it all yourself.
No.
It's actually empowering others.
Yes,
to
and
do
delegating.
it and delegating.
Well, yes.
Yeah, and that's true leadership, and that's definitely something. I get it. It's easier said than done. It's easy to say, oh, I'm not in control, God's in control, but it's one thing to say it and another thing to actually practice it and do it. but that's okay that it's hard to do that as long as we're diligently making the effort.
Yeah.
And it's funny why it should be so hard to rest. How is it hard to rest?
Right. Yeah.
But again, if we don't take the step to do it, and what will we learn in it? You know,
Yes.
I mean, and I think that's another thing I'm excited for us taking this Monday as a shop Sabbath is what are we going to learn in that process?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and
Because I know we will. We'll learn something.
Well, I just think of a conversation we had a couple months ago in our management meeting, and I brought up the song "God, I Look to You" by Bethel, and there's a part of it that says, "Give me vision to see things like you do," and there's another line that says, "Give me wisdom, you know just what to do," and like that's been a frequent prayer for me over like the shop. And even just like, what is the Lord's vision for 12 Stones, and what is the wisdom he has for how to steward it? Because we need that in order to make this place be what it is, and to run the way the Lord wants it to run, and to ultimately give him glory and bless people well. Is like, I need vision from him, and I need wisdom from him. And so like we've talked about that, and even just again having Mondays to sit in prayer and sit on some of those things of like, okay, what does the Lord have for 12 Stones? Not just what does Dina have for 12 Stones, what does Kerstyn have for 12 Stones, what are some ideas that we have? Like, those are great, and those are things that come up in our management meetings.
Yeah.
But having a day where we can just be like, actually, Lord, like, we want to hear what you have to say, not just always what we think is going to be best.
Yeah.
And so
good.
Yeah. And so, yeah. So starting in January, it's actually on. I mean, we're sitting right by the door,
a
and
sign.
yeah, we have our sign out that says Monday, January 5th is closed for our first shop Sabbath of 2026. And then from then on, every Monday. So if you come in on Mondays, I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
But I'm also not.
I know honestly, it's truly hard because it's not just me. I know Kerstyn feels the same way. We never want to disappoint customers or have disappointed customers, which is why we wanted to share our hearts today, why we want to do this podcast. So hoping you understand our hearts behind it, and you'll see the fruit of it, because I have no doubt that there will be fruit from taking that day, that shop Sabbath, which it's like I said before, I can't wait for the expanded vision that we'll get, and just the space to really creatively dream.
Yes. And us both being creatives and having that space, but also like a space I'm excited to hear just what the Lord has to say about some of the things that we've talked about that we just haven't had time, you know, to sit on those things and like prayerfully consider them, instead of just being like, that's a good business idea, let's do it.
Right.
You know, because like that's a good business practice to pitch ideas and to do it, and to fail and learn, and or it be a success and you document it and you learn, and you know, but as Christians too, how you start a business is going to look different than just regular business practice, and sometimes it looks insane. You know, like I think about like having faith sometimes looks really foolish, but that's not the point.
It does. It looks foolish to the world.
Yeah. And so I even think that for like closing on Monday is like, if you are able to be open 7 days a week, why wouldn't you? Because that gives you more income and more revenue, and also, but that's not.
It's not all about the money.
No, and it's about having Christian, like not Christian, biblical standards for how you run your business, and wanting to first have your business minister to the Lord, and then have it minister to people. Yeah, that's so true. Thanks for tuning in and hearing our heart behind making this decision, and all the things we talked about, just receiving vision and wisdom from the Lord, and taking a day of rest, and so starting January 5th of 2026, that'll be our first shop Sabbath, and then every Monday after that, we're just gonna lean into having a day of rest and letting the space be blessed, and leaning into prayer, all the things. So thanks for understanding and coming with us on this journey and making this change. But thanks for letting us share our hearts behind it, and for listening to Finding Your Cup. And until next time, find your cup, fill it with what feeds your vision, and remember to always drink good coffee. Always drink good coffee. Stay warm too. It's winter. Should we cheers? Oh, we should cheers. Clink. Whoop, whoop. See you later. Bye.